If it's about breaking through musical boundaries and sounding out new technology, then Neil Landstrumm is always at the forefront. His music's always been very bass-heavy and likes to refer to the UK techno bleep era of the past. However, his digital shredder excursions with Brighton's No Future posse are now days gone by. The native Scotsman has found his way back to hardware devices, which he also puts to work during his live set. On his last album, Restaurant of Assassins, there are definitely traces of UK dubstep to be heard. He also runs a multimedia platform called Scandinavia that consists of a label, a graphics department, and a small t-shirt collection.
Well, Scandinavia, it started just as the label, but I never restricted it to just being the record label. I wanted it to just be a general name for as an artistic platform. It's not specific to electronic music. And then it got off the ground just as the records and doing the t-shirts and the sweatshirts. And then I started the motion graphics company in New York, and I just used the same name, just Scandinavia Design. So it's just whatever artistic direction that I want to take, and it's the name that's attached to the product of that. From my point of view, nothing has changed. It's a constantly moving boundary, and I don't see any difference when I go into the studio today to when I went into the studio 15 years ago. I'm still trying to do the same thing, but your influences change and the scene changes, and you try and kind of you're not adapting. You're not trying to change what you do. You're just trying to kind of pull in these different things and make something that fits that particular period. So, 10, 12 years ago, it was very much that kind of Chicago sound, the harder British sound, and the Brighton techno thing, or the No Future kind of techno thing, came out of that. And it was just basically all our experiences in different clubs and of the sound that we knew that worked, that was a kind of funkier, harder kind of sound, but still had touches of experimental elements in it that we honed in on. And, as far as we were concerned, we did it, and then there was a line, I think, for a lot of us, and we moved on. And it's also that thing, when you come up with something that works, you get a lot of copycat producers that come in and they kind of ruin it for you, because they just copy it, and every time they copy it, it just is like a slightly worse version of what it was. And plus, you cast off, you've done it. So when I do a 12-inch and I'm happy with it, I cast it off. I'm not interested in doing it again. And I think it's a shame that a lot of people that are involved in electronic music and dance music, why not just keep trying to do something different? Why just do the same thing over and over again? It's just like, I find that just kind of soul destroying when it's just, all right, you've done that, okay, you've done it again, and you've done that again. Like, come on, what else are you going to do? You must have something else to say here.
I know it all. Speaking about the roots of assassin, straight up. That's all it is. Speaking about the assassins.
His last album, Restaurants of Assassins, came out on Planet Mu. Musically, it differs greatly from the albums he'd made before that.
I was really pleased with it. I'd sort of spent the last few years building up to that album, I think, and I put a lot of effort into it. Particularly, I think, and I think it shows. I think you can tell that it's had a lot of time spent on it, and that the production is from a longer span of time, whereas I think the earlier Tresor records were very much done in 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and it was a concentrated period. It was more like a double pack, whereas the Restaurant of Assassins album, I wanted to be an LP. I wanted it to be something that you could play from the start, listen right the way through it, and you could enjoy it as a whole thing.
Father to son, when I drop on shows, I say,
Rockers leads the way.
where, selector.
Rockers leads the way.
Yeah man, crazy, you know Brooklyn is Vibes Cartel, home away from home.
Rockers leads the way.
Check themselves.
Rockers leads the way.
Dubstep has not only made its mark on Neil Landstrumm, it's also found its way into the sets of a variety of techno DJs.
Yeah, I think a lot of techno kind of people have appreciated or understood dubstep because it fits when they mix it, because it's basically the half-step thing. And if you listen to a lot of dubstep, they're moving more into that kind of 4/4 feel, but the clap tends to be on the 3 or occasionally on the 2, and it's a faster tempo. And drum and bass, I think, originally threw a lot of those people off because it was all snares and it was really fast, and like I don't quite know where to dance to. But now a lot of drum and bass is this kind of, and they just dance to it and they put that over everything, and it sort of spoils it a bit. I think the looseness isn't there. But and also the dubstep sound has been one of the first ones that's come along that is a slightly new take on things. It didn't really develop out of anything. It sort of just developed out of its own thing. And the people, a lot of the producers that are into it, they're not so keen to make it this big, huge agenda or thing. They're quite happy to just do their own little labels and their little parties and keep it going that way. They don't have this, like the drum and bass got a bit silly when it was started, like, we're going to change the world with this, and it became the sound of like all these adverts and daytime TV. And I don't think the dubstep producers and people that are influential in it, they're not interested in that at all, which is a good thing.